Let's explore headings in a Microsoft Word document using the syllabus template as an example. To make it easier to work with headings, we're going to turn on two things. First, we're going to go to the View tab and select the Navigation pane button to open the navigation pane. This opens the navigation pane on the left-hand side that displays all of the headings that are already selected in the document. The second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the Home tab and I'm going to select the paragraph Show Hide button to show the invisible characters in my document, the non-printing characters. So now let's look at how to make headings. So the first rule with headings is that each document needs to have exactly one heading 1. If you want to also have a title, that is fine, but you always have to have one heading 1. In this particular document, if I click into course number and I expand my styles panel, I see that title is outlined. This tells me that course number is in the title style or the title heading. Now I'm going to click into course title and I see that heading 1 is outlined. So course title is my heading 1. I also see that course title is the most outdented part of my table of contents in the navigation pane. So I have one heading 1, which is course title. And I have a number of different heading 2s in my document. I can scroll through, and if I click into who is facilitating this course, I see that heading 2 is outlined, and I see that who's facilitating this course is highlighted in my navigation pane. I can have any number of heading 2s in my document. I can also have heading 3s that are nested under heading 2. For example, here where it says, what are the course requirements? I see that exams and paper are indented, so these are heading 3 that are nested under what are the course requirements. I can select any of the heading 2s in my navigation pane to jump to that part of the document. That is one of the great things about having headings. It helps with navigation. So I can click on what are the course requirements, and it takes me to that part of the document. So now I see that there's exams and paper. Now let's say that I wanted to add one additional section to the course requirements. Let's say that my course also had a project and I wanted to add another course requirement. I'm going to go to the end of the previous paragraph and I'm going to tap my return key. Now I'm on the next line. I'm going to write in the word project. But I see that right now project is in the normal style rather than a heading 3. To make it a heading 3, I'm going to highlight the word project and I'm going to select heading 3 from my styles menu. And now I see that the style of the word project has changed and I also see it in my navigation pane. Now the next thing with working with headings is that sometimes I may want to change how they visually appear. So let's say that for my heading 2, right now they are set to be Arial, 12-point font, and bold. Let's say that I wanted my heading 2 to be a little bit bigger, a little bit more prominent on the screen. I'm going to highlight the heading 2 text. I'm going to change it to a size 16 font. So I've changed it just for this one section of text, but I want it to apply to all of my heading 2. So while this text is highlighted, I'm going to go to heading 2. I'm going to right-click on it, and I'm going to select Update Heading 2 to match selection. Now, as I scroll through my document, all of my text that used to be a size 12 font that was part of the heading 2 style is going to be Arial and 16-point font. Now let's say that some of my headings were accidentally disabled. So for example, let's say I'm going to take this section of text, what are policies for my department, and I'm going to switch the whole thing to normal font, normal style. So I see that both the text, what are the policies, and the placeholder text underneath it is no longer a heading. if I need to switch that back to a heading, the first thing to make sure is that the paragraph of text is on the next line. If my paragraph of text is on the same line as the heading, Microsoft Word is going to try to make the entire paragraph a heading, and you don't want that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the paragraph of text on the next line, and I see that I have the invisible character, the paragraph spacing character there. And then I'm going to select what are the policies for my department. I'm going to highlight that line of text, and I'm going to select heading 2 from my styles panel, and I have what are the policies for my department, again as a style. The next thing that I see in this document is that I have visual space between the sections of my document, between the various headings, but I don't have extra paragraph spacing. This is good. I'm creating visual space without using repeating characters. If I put my cursor after the paragraph and I tap my return key, I'm creating visual space, but I'm also creating white noise. I'm creating a mess in my document, and I don't want that. We don't want to have those repeating characters, so I'm going to delete those. If I want more space, if I want where to go for help to be even further down, I would highlight my line of text, and then I'm going to go to the line and paragraph spacing button. Over here, I see the options to remove space before paragraph, remove space after paragraph, or line spacing options. If I select remove space before paragraph, I see that that line of text has shifted up because the space that was above it has been removed. If I go back to line and paragraph spacing, I can add space, and that space comes back. I can also go to line spacing options. In line and spacing options, I can specify exactly how much space I want. Right now, before this line, there's 0 points of space. So points are a unit of measure, just like your font points. So if I want about as much space as the height of one line, and I'm writing in 16-point font, I'm going to add 16 points of space. I'm going to select OK. And now I see that my line has moved 16 points of space down. So I can adjust how much space I want without adding invisible characters that would create noise for screen reader users of my document. So let's review. The first thing you're going to do is go to the View tab and open your navigation pane. You're going to go to the Home tab and open the invisible non-printing characters. You're going to go through your document. You're going to make sure that you have one heading 1. You can have as many heading 2 as you want, but you want to make sure that your paragraphs are set as normal, not as headings. You can have heading 3 if you have some text that needs to be nested underneath another heading. In this case, exams and paper and project are all heading 3. And to create extra visual space without creating white noise, you're going to use the line and paragraph spacing option.